Greetings and welcome to Become One Living. My name is Jody Domerstad.
And I'm Dan Boisits.
My legal name is Jody Boisits.
So legally, Jody is Jody Boisits.
That I am. Though in the yoga world, it teaches us not to be identifying with names. So does it really matter who I am?
No, Joe.
Perfect, Joe. Me and my husband are here today to talk about yoga and my experience of yoga. My belief about yoga is that yoga is a complete healing modality.
That you have used throughout just about your entire adult life.
Yes.
You have used your entire adult life.
I have. I say that it's a complete healing system because in the West, here in the States, we just do asana.
It's feeling watered down. And if you move your body a while, if you use yoga a while, you're doing asana, there's a great chance that after doing that for some time, you're going to wonder to yourself, is there a little bit more to this? And the answer is
yes.
There's a lot more to this.
A lot more to the yoga classes nowadays. Most of them are set up. You go in, music's on, you move, shavasana, you leave.
Music.
And music during shavasana. And it leaves little or no room for awareness, pranayama, which is breathing, meditation, contemplation. So you move your body. What I'm curious, if our listeners know this, I'd be curious, and I know you know this, did you know that moving the body is 1 out of 8 limbs?
1 out of 8.
Yes. It's 1 out of 8 principles. You can use the word principle or limb. I wonder if they know
Yeah, it's like
that.
limbs or pillars or, main areas of study.
I feel so drawn to this idea of holding yoga as a complete healing modality because it was designed as a system. And if we use all of the limbs, we have an opportunity to investigate and explore our humanness.
Mm-hmm.
The full humanness,
Yeah.
the thinking mind, the fearful mind,
The feeling body.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's, I've said it before, but if this was called Scoopy Doopy, that's what I'd be doing because I have not experienced in my lifetime a certain something that offers as much as yoga offers. And it's a great way to grow. It's a great way to mature. It's a great way to learn how to be. And it's a great way to learn how to be well.
Yes.
But it all begins
With the 8 limbs.
in the
And that-
yamas and the niyamas.
We today want to share this idea with our listeners here that we want you to know the complete system of yoga started thousands of years ago and showed up in something called the Yoga Sutras.
Sutra. And we're compelled to share this because we witness transformation by way of the offerings that Jody shares through her teacher trainings. We witness people transform right in front of our eyes
By using
the 8 limbs. Yeah, it doesn't happen just by asana.
Yeah. So the Yoga Sutras go back thousands of years. And in future podcasts, we will dive into the Yoga Sutras, the Bhagavad Gita, all the sacred texts that people use to study yoga. But for today, just want to share that the 8 limbs comes from the Yoga Sutras. And the 8 limbs is a clear framework for you to use and go back to over and over and over again in your life, to study and learn about yourself in every aspect, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
It's truly an opportunity, if you use these tools, for self-realization, to become into yourself, to become aware completely of all that you are. And again, I don't know anywhere else that you can get this comprehensive package from. I don't know where this exists other than this system.
And the complete system, the 8 limbs, Dan and I use them broadly, meaning this. The first limb is called the yamas. And the yamas is about you and your behavior in the world, how you treat the world, how you treat people. The next limb is called niyamas. Listen, my friends, we will go through all these words over and over again. Just hear them and don't worry about what they mean.
You don't have to write them down.
Yeah, put the pens down. So these first 2 limbs or principles are about studying self. For me, that then can be even going to talk therapy, right? You don't have to take it and narrow it and boil it down to, I have to study the yoga scriptures, I have to do this, I have to do that. You have to study your behavior. You can't change what you don't know. You can't change what you can't see in yourself. Yoga has that aspect where it asks you, how are you behaving in the world? How do you impact the world? And then how do you take care of yourself and impact yourself?
It's a great way to have, like, it's almost like, it's a great way to, I imagine some of them as mirrors to yourself so that you can really wake up.
And if you're not able to witness your mirror or your own reflection, that's when you get guidance and support from someone, which could be talk therapy, which could be body work, which could be studying the scriptures.
I think that we all have, if we're searching, we all have something that brings us into a better relationship, whether it's surfing, whether it's practicing the piano, whether it's painting, whether it's reading, whether it's through like watching movies. You get to know it so well that it becomes a learning tool and a reflection. All these great things simultaneously, super powerful, but you have to be paying attention.
So the first 2 limbs in the 8-limb path is asking you, pay attention to your behavior and pay attention to how you care for yourself.
How do you care for yourself? How do you treat other people?
Okay, now from there, the Yoga Sutras and the 8 limbs say, now you can do asana. Because when you move your body, you get more information on what's happening in your body, but you also get information on how you treat your body.
And it's great because you learn in the yamas and the yamas about non-attachment, right? It's right up front. You learn about non-attachment. So you cannot go to your asana class and look at somebody who's in your quote unquote spot and be like, wait, you're in my spot.
Really? Because I've had people do that.
Yeah, that's silly.
That has actually happened, my friends. I owned a studio. I still do for years.
You can't, that's my spot.
I'm with you. That's why that person needed yoga. That's why we need yoga as a society. We cling to these things. That's why the 8 limbs are beautiful, because they ask you, what are you clinging to? What does that space do for you? You feel safe? Because when I ask people, why do you have a spot? When I keep asking and we boil it down, they're so uncomfortable, some of them, that spot makes them feel safe.
Well, that's a sweetness. That's a sweet spot. I suppose there's always a sweet spot to something that becomes outwardly a red flag for me. So somebody could find a spot I suppose like your first time walking into a yoga studio could be daunting.
Yeah, people are scared. And I'm not saying it's a healthy thing for us to cling onto that one spot. What would be beautiful is the awareness. Using the 8 limbs, you can become aware. Wow, I'm really stuck on that spot. I need that spot. I'm going to fight that person for that spot. I know someone that got into a fight for their position.
Yeah.
And that to me is that opportunity to dive into the yamas and the niyamas, these ideas of who am I in this world, and now who am I on this yoga mat. So then we move to asana, which is the 3rd limb, but it's the body. And sometimes for me, walking is asana. Would you agree?
Most definitely.
Moving the body brings an awareness to your visceral organs. You get to build a relationship with the senses inside your body. And you also get to understand injuries or limitations through the body.
If you think about it in terms of evolution, the body was built to help us be mobile, amble, all the way from the occiput atlanto joint right beneath the skull. The whole body beneath you, beneath your head, is built to move. So it's important. Asana is crucial. We're not counting it out. It's very, very important.
When we talk more in detail about asana, we'll talk about the way we look at it and how you can make it functional so that you live a better life with more ease and function to your body. Keep it as optimal as you can throughout your lifetime.
Because when your body is in pain, you're preoccupied and you're probably not in as good a mood as you could be.
I know what that feels like. The next limb is pranayama. That means breathing. We'll get into that in another podcast. Why is breathing so important? Because of oxygen. It enlivens you and your cells. And your breath informs your mind. If you can lengthen your breath and calm the breath down, it can calm down the mind. We call that body up. The breath also can alkaline the body. We'll talk about that. One of the most important things, I think, is when you breathe and your focus goes to your breath, it brings you right into this moment. So the breath not only can alter your state physiologically, heart rate slow down, lungs more expansive, VO2 uptake, all these fun things we'll get into, but it also brings you right into the present moment. And it's a tool to support the movement.
I like that. Yeah, just to back up 1 second, I just had a thought was that, short breath supports anxiety, and lengthening the breath calms the nervous system. And then when you can bring your steady breath into your movement in congruence, in coordination together, then you're really cooking.
Then the practice becomes a practice of therapeutic use, healing, and transformation, because you just moved out of a limbic state, fight or flight, or nervous energy or tension. You moved from tension and tightness to a down regulation, a calming, a slowing down, a healing space. And you regulate your nervous system, and what comes online is your fullest potential.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. What's after pranayama?
Pratyahara.
Ooh, Pratyahara. Some say that Pratyahara means to withdraw your senses completely, meaning don't hear, don't see, don't smell, don't taste.
Turn in.
Mm-hmm. When we look at the word a little more, and we will later on, it means to turn away from something and turn towards something else. Turn away from the distractions and turn towards that in which can heal you, feed you, expand you.
Yeah. Amazing. So this reminds me of that little clip about like the Buddhist monk who came to Times Square for the first time, and he looked up at all the signs, the neon signs, everything flashing, blinking, and he said, "They're trying to steal my mind." And so Pratyahara is, limiting or eliminating or diminishing the distractions outward so that you can turn in.
Yeah. Sometimes Dan will say to me, and I'm sure some of our listeners have experienced this, where you see me scrolling and just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And Dan will say to me, "I lost you. I lost you. Lost me in distraction, lost me in time and space. I'm no longer there." And that over time creates a habit and a pattern of looking outward. And the more we look outward for reinforcement, for validation, for too much information, we cut off our intuition and our interoception, our understanding of self gets cut off because now we're comparing ourselves to the outside world.
Yeah, we're relinquishing, essentially trusting ourselves. All of the feedback that we get is really important. The interoception, the proprioception, our eyes, smelling, feeling, all of these things are so rich. But if sensitized, we lose connection with ourselves.
Dan, you said the word interoception, and I just want to share with everyone what that means. Interoception is your ability to understand your inner signals.
Yeah, recognizing all the essentials. So recognizing when your mouth tells you you're thirsty, recognizing when your bladder or your other elimination systems say you've got to eliminate, recognizing the stomach, the sounds of the stomach.
So when you're tired, if you don't go to sleep, you're ignoring the visceral response of your body talking to you. If you keep doing that, which most people do, they hold in urination. I'll just hold it. I'll hold it. I got to get this done. Or I don't have to eat now. I can hold it. Keep going. We push and push and push, closing off the signal with self. Over time, we then distract and go outward to try to fix certain things, when if we just listen to our inner body speaking to us with the basic signals it's offering, we could alter and change our life very simply. If we just ate when we were hungry, slept when we were tired, and listened to the inside interoception. Going further is after Pratyahara, after saying, I'm not going to be distracted with the outer world anymore.
That creates space for dharana.
Which is?
Concentration.
Concentration must be practiced before you can meditate. So concentration is about coming back to something over and over again, which we're not designed to do, by the way. Our human mind is wired to scan for possible threats. So the prehistoric brain is wired to try to keep us alive. The very thing it's not going to be really happy about is concentrating. So people try to concentrate and they think, I stink at this, I can't stop my thoughts, I'm a horrible yogi, whatever that means. But in essence, we're created to be almost hypervigilant. It is up to us to practice the opposite over time, to keep coming back and fixing on the breath or the body.
And I would suspect that most people setting out on their own meditation practice will, unbeknownst to themselves, not get past initial obstacles because of their lack of ability to concentrate. So, for example, you shared with me the other day, you extended your practice, your meditation practice, and you had this sweet moment where, but it took about 45 to 50 minutes where you finally were really present. It's a great, deep understanding of where meditation can take you. You know, it reminds me of the couple of people that I know, and they're like, all right, let's do this meditation practice. Okay, let's do a 40-day challenge. We're going to do meditation for 40-day challenge. Okay, here we go. We can do this. We got this. And they did the 40 days and they were done. And then one looked at the other and the one said, okay, so now what do we do? So you like totally missed the point of going in and really observing or connecting with or catching even the clarity that comes in if you're truly getting your meditation on.
I have been smiling and giggling this whole time, my friends, because Dan failed to tell you how long I've extended my meditation practice to. Would you like to tell them how long?
2 hours.
Yes, I have been meditating for 2 hours a day. It's only been 7 days, maybe 10 days. And it takes my mind. One day was 45 minutes to calm down. Another day it felt like 20. And what I do is I sit, I let my mind just go. I let it go. And after a little while, my breath comes online. I start to calm down and I pick a place to focus and I breathe in to my throat or my nose or my belly and I breathe out. And after a while, Diana, I disappear. And there's been a few times in the past 10 days where this sense of Samadhi occurs. That's the last limb. And what that means is the sum of everything. It doesn't mean that I've left my body and I'm hanging out with the dude or dudette. Doesn't mean I'm not present. It means the physical body dissolves. And I was nothing. There was nothing there. And what came to me after a while was, what if you were nothing? What if you were no one? It brings up such deep emotion. I can go right back to that place where I realized I am nothing. And all these little things that happen in life, I get so worked up over. And I give meaning to things that have no meaning. But as I sit with myself in stillness, the remembrance rises up. And I'm awake from the inside and the outer world dissolves. And no one or nothing exists. And as woo-woo as that sounds, that is a deep state of peace. That's what lies within us. I never had that before. I never met that before. That's why we're sharing this with you. 40 years of my life were chaos, filled with complex trauma, life-threatening diseases, near-death experiences, abuse, addiction. I never imagined that I could feel such a deep peace in my body and in life. And it's from the 8 limbs. When I only did the physical, I only got physical. When I only tried to control my mind, I actually have a very intellectual part that figured out what I was trying to do, and I lost. Right? Because we can think a good game. But when I started to say, Jody, you want to be loving, but you're angry. When I started to see the polarity in that from the yamas and the niyamas, I decided, how am I going to change that? Who can help me with this? What do I have to do? So please, when you look at yoga, may you not see just the yoga practice of physical asana. And maybe asana brings you to the practice. That's lovely. That's what it did for me and you, right, Dan? But as I started to move and go deeper and deeper, I realized that I wanted to know who I was without suffering. And that opportunity is there if you engage and use the 8 limbs as a framework to keep coming back to and back to over and over again. May you experience a deep peace. And not try to meditate for 2 hours. Don't do that. That's another podcast in and of itself, why I'm choosing to do that. These practices have been around for thousands of years. They knew. We started to study them. And Dan and I will share neuroscience and some studies they've done to prove these things with you. But most of the time, we're going to share from our experience. If you have any questions, you can email us. Right, Dan?
Absolutely.
At becomeoneliving@gmail.com. Do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
So much. We've got plenty of time.
So much. Okay. Thank you all, my friends, for joining us today and listening, engaging.
Yeah, thank you. It's fun to be able to share our lives and share what's been really helpful in living a full, calm life.
That's another podcast. Okay, my friends. Our life is calm. I'm still here trying to figure that out. Okay, Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.